Hey everyone, Simply Zoological here. Before we get into the video, let me just start by saying thank you for hanging out with me today. So as you can see, we are currently back in TVEP, and we are actually working on a Fossa exhibit today. So with that being said, we do end up with a mom, a dad, and 2 baby boys. So please feel free to give them some names down in the comments below. But with this build itself, it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, because my reference picture that I was using, the picture itself was of I believe it was like a waterfall, probably in maybe like a park or something like that. But the waterfall, it had this wave to the front of it, how the front of this exhibit does. And that's solely where I got the inspiration for this build at. But the angle that the photo was taken at made it seem very made the build itself seem a little bit intimidating almost to build, because it looks so intricate compared to what I was expecting. Because I guess it had to just be the angle that the photo was taken at, because I was quite weary of starting this build, and because it took me a long time to get the courage to actually start this and to actually be able to do it, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take me forever, it's gonna be like a 10-hour long video, because I'm gonna have to restart so much and all this stuff. And one night I went and I was like, well, I'll just go in and I'll just see about how I want to do the front of it. And once I did, I was like, oh, because it wasn't that I didn't know how to do it. I knew how I wanted it. It was just more or less making the wave and figuring out what piece I wanted to use. But once I got the circle made, I mean, it took me 15 minutes probably in total to get the front of it done after I got the initial circle done. And then the rest of it was just building the exterior and all that stuff. But anyways, so there's a couple points that I want to go over really quickly before we go any further. So I've come up with the idea of so the build that goes out on Wednesday, that y'all will watch the video for on Wednesday, that build will be available on the workshop on Saturday, the following Saturday. So y'all will actually be able to watch this build, not watch it, but y'all will be able to use this build in your zoos this coming Saturday. And I've been meaning to do this for a long time. It's just I've been forgetting, and I didn't really know what day I wanted to upload it on. And so I was like, well, I'll just do it on Saturdays, because that's when everyone's home. They'll want to play games. They can use it on Saturday and all this stuff. And so I decided that, yeah, it'll just go out on Saturdays. And I've actually set a reminder on my phone to set the weekly build to public, so that way y'all will have access to it. And when I do that, I will make both a YouTube community post and an Instagram post stating that the build is now available. So if you're not already, please go give us a follow over on Instagram. The link to it, I actually link my Instagram in every single one of my descriptions, and so you can find our Instagram channel down below in the description of this video. And so just because we post all kinds, especially lately I've been posting a lot more on Instagram of behind the scene photos of the animals, the babies that we're getting, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you go and follow us over there. And also, something else that I want to go over really, really quickly. So the spacing in this is not their traversable area is not the best. we, like I said, we end up with a mom, a dad, and 2 pups. And so I'm expecting if you were to have 3 pups, you would probably be good. If you had 4 pups, it may be a little bit tight. So for franchise players, definitely, you may have to do a little bit of finicking to make it in the green, unless or it would probably be like in the yellow. But again, you can only have up to 4 pups with the Fossa anyway. So I think so you should be fine. But yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say about that. And then something else I've been wanting to incorporate in my builds for quite a while is giving y'all some interesting facts that I found interesting about the animal that we're building for. But lately I haven't been able to find the time really to tell you about any of it. So really quick, for the Fossa, they actually have scent glands at the base of their tail and on their chest that they use to mark their territory, but also they use that as a primary form of communication, because scientists have found that the Fossa, they're not really vocal unless it's breeding season or mating season. And so they found that they use the scent glands to communicate with other Fossa in order to, instead of vocalizing it. But also, they have really long tails. On average, the Fossa's tail can be anywhere from 26 to 28 inches, giving a little bit longer or shorter depending on the animal itself, but that's the average length for a Fossa tail. And they actually, their tails are actually so long because it helps them balance when they're climbing up in the trees and when they're jumping from branch to branch to catch prey or whatever, because the Fossas do most of their hunting up in the trees, but they are also very comfortable on land as well. And also, they actually, when they climb down a tree, they climb down head first. And when I read that, I was like, wait, what? Because the Fossa, they have, their ankle joints are they have very flexible ankle joints and and retractable claws to help them climb down head first, so that way they can grab hold of the tree so tight, and so that way they can move their ankles how they need to, so that way they can go down head first. And I was just thinking, when I read that, I was like, there's no way in heck I would ever climb down a tree head first. But that's a very common practice for the Fossa. They climb down head first, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so those are just a few interesting facts that I've found. If y'all know of any more, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear more about the Fossa. I mean, they're really interesting looking animals, and they are actually relatives of, I believe, the mongoose. They're a cousin or something, I believe, of the mongoose. And so, yeah, they're very, very interesting animals. But anyways, so as y'all saw with the climbing structure, it is very simple for a couple reasons. One, because as you know, I don't really care for building climbing structures in this game. But 2, because I thought from the guest perspective, it may be a little too much to look at if they were having to look through the waves of the front, but also having to look at this very intricate climbing structure along with all the trees and stuff that we have in the build. So I figured it would probably just be best if we went very simple, which is what I was planning on doing to begin with. And so it made my life a whole lot easier. But anyways, It looks like we're coming down to the last couple of minutes. And before I go, I want to say again, if you have any name suggestions, leave those down in the comments below. Again, mom, dad, and 2 baby boys. Also, if you have, again, any more interesting Fossa facts or anything like that y'all have found interesting, y'all can again let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear about them. And don't forget to hit the like button, and please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But if you do subscribe, I ask for you to please turn on the bell notification icon so that way you won't miss the next time that I post a video. But anyways, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day and enjoy these last couple of minutes. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.